Master Detective Lance.
That is me. Who's asking?
Dr. Emily Klein.
Ah, a psychologist. Well, what can I do for you, doctor?
I want you to tell me all you know about Greenhills.
If you've come all this way to ask me, then I must assume you have a case.
How did you know?
Oh, it's simple, elementary, my dear doctor. You're holding the files under your arm. The voice recorder is peeking from your pocket. The desperate expression on your face. You come all this way for answers.
Very observant. Now if you could tell me.
You won't find all that there is to know in the folders of the university.
The files would be nothing compared to what you can tell me.
Well, then have a seat, doctor. Get comfortable. We're going to be here a while. There's a lot to tell. Dr. Blackmore would finish the building of Haunted Halls on October 28th, 2010, and soon after would open its doors to the public with the promise of curing people's nightmares, fears, and phobias. But this was just a premise, this was just a bait, and soon people began to disappear, from a scuba diver afraid of water, to a woman afraid of her own reflection, to a man who could never finish a stamp collection, to a little girl afraid of what was hiding in the dark, to an adventurer who was afraid of heights, and to an artist who was claustrophobic. At one point there was a man that would come and go in, a journalist named Tim. He too would disappear, being only able to send a letter to his girlfriend, who would go into Greenhills herself. Through sheer bravery and wit and nerve, was able to not only free poor Tim. Now Tim was connected to a device that connected all of the other residences to himself. What Blackmore had done was channel all of the fears and terrors and phobias of all of the residents into poor Tim, using him as a central nervous system, punishing him for daring to come to Greenhills to expose Blackmore.
Help me.
Blackmore would connect devices to each of the patients as well, forcing them to live their fears.
Thank you. My fear of this contaminated water nearly killed me. The head doctor, Mr. Blackmore, is a monster. His experimental treatment is more than anyone can bear. Greenhills may scare you, but I beg you to help the other patients. You're the only one left to face our fears. These helmets collect the energy produced by fear. I'm not sure what the energy powers, but it can't be good. I must rest now. I'm drained.
It's a miracle. The buzzing, whirring, and scratching sounds are gone. I can't help that insects paralyze me with fear. Wait, I recognize you. From Tim's description, of course. He was afraid you'd come. I should tell you to leave, but I won't. We all feared the sanitarium head would catch Tim, too. Tim is strapped to a terrible device fueled by fear. The only way to save him is to save us first.
My stamps, my precious stamps. How I've missed them. I'll finally be able to sleep again. Once Dr. Blackmore initiated my fears, I was enslaved to them. He didn't have to lock us up. Our fears did it for him. Thank you for releasing me.
Tim would hold out. Tim would stay firm until his girlfriend would find him and release him. Dr. Blackmore had been trying to build a device that would be able to control people's fears, and he decided to use that control to dominate the world. When that failed, He turned to attempt to draw the fears out of children, to open dimensions of terror into the real world. But as with before, Tim's girlfriend again stopped Blackmore. And if that wasn't enough, Blackmore also tapped into the nightmares of Tim's girlfriend herself and used a dimension to try to torment her, in which she did escape, and stopped Blackmore once and for all. We do not speak of the fourth case of haunted halls. Last time we saw Dr. Blackmore was back in 2019 when he attempted to align dimensions into one world, but was stopped. Ever since then, we haven't heard from him. Describe Dr. Blackmore. He is catastrophically deranged and cruel, manically obsessed with fear and the power it holds. He always wanted his victims to experience as much fear as possible, destroying people's minds without a single care, relishing in the misery that is caused. He is also extremely vengeful, always swearing vengeance upon anyone who attempted to stop him. Dr. Blackmore himself was unsafe from his own experiments. For in experimenting himself, he too became an eldritch abomination, a nightmare of his own making. Well, that should be more than enough for you. Now, why did you want to know everything that I knew?
People are disappearing again.
Interesting. Well, I wish you the best of luck then. If you excuse me, I have a date with Detective Majesty.
Why don't you come with me? I'm sure you're curious about what's going on.
Doctor, with all due respect, whomever is in Greenhills now is not Dr. Blackmore. Whomever is in there now is likely an imposter.
Well, as I live and breathe, of all the people I get partnered with, it's Dr. Emily Klain.
Hello, Simeon.
Save me the pleasantries. The agency must be desperate pairing a detective and his ex together.
I didn't want to be here either, yet here I am.
I'll just have to pretend I don't know you. This day went from bad to how I wish I just stayed in bed this morning.
Whatever makes it easier on you, Simeon. I hold no ill will against you. I'm here on a case and will act accordingly. Now can we get going before we become more soaked?
Right? Get in the car. It's going to be a long drive. And here we are, Greenhills Sanitarium. Not much to look at now. The statues on top are gone. They added windows to the front when they tried to renovate. Yet that flopped, and now it sits desolate after all this time.
It's almost saddening to look at.
Did you talk to him, by the way, that eccentric master detective?
I did. He told me all I wanted to know about the man who built this place.
Weird. When I tried talking to him, he wouldn't give me much at all, just kept staring. I am not sure how he became a master detective, yet I've heard so many stories about him, like he's a genius or something.
He did go to Greenhills himself once, and let's not forget that Master Detective Key also was a patient here once too.
Poor kid. Well, let's go in. Not like we have to let ourselves in. This place has no doors on the outside. Why they haven't just condemned the place is beyond me. It's no wonder someone took up residence here. And the lights work. The interior is different because of the renovation. They closed off the original front entrance and built this side instead and moved the reception counter there. Time to get my recorder out. Detective Simeon Klain Log 1. in the shadowed silence of Greenhills Sanitarium. Years after Tim's escape thanks to his girlfriend, I am here with Dr. Emily Klein. The once pristine hallways are now but a shadow of their former selves. We are here because of recent events of disappearances around this area yet again after all these years.
You make it sound so dramatic.
Dramatic is what will get people to read and listen. This place gives off such an oppressive feeling.
To think that each of these rooms held an individual who was strapped to a device that turned his fears into power while what was feared was in the room.
Stop. Is it just me, or is this place becoming more warped and twisted the further in we go? That and I've been seeing shadows.
You all right, detective? Try to relax. It's like you said, this place gives off an oppressive feeling, yet that's all it is, a feeling.
Let's split up for the moment. You go through that room, and I'll go through this one. This whole thing is strange, the place, this case. It's so unorthodox. The agency wouldn't dare pair a detective and his ex. It's against procedure. Come to think of it, this whole thing is against procedure. I still recall getting the email, and my gut immediately raised a red flag, for the email I received was not through the normal agency's channels. See, every email that is sent goes through different channels that sign it. Before it reaches the detective it is sent to ensure it is from the top. This email came into my personal one. It did have the signature of the top, yet no signatures of the others. The other's suspicion of note was how specific it was. The agency is never specific with its instructions. Most of the time the agency just says go here and we go and find out there. Yet this one gave a time, a place, and also the fact that said person would speak to Lance first. The agency never names its agents either as such. I've been chewing on this ever since I picked up Dr. Emily Klein, and now there is only one conclusion.
Detective, there was nothing in that room back there. Did you find anything?
It's a suspicion, a gut feeling. I have to do this carefully. It's a gamble. Doctor, I seem to have lost my notes on one of the patients of Greenhills. Could I have yours?
Which one?
Just let me have a look. I'll know when I find it.
That won't be necessary. I am sure it can wait till after we leave here.
I knew it. She is up to something, and I'm going to find out what.
Why are you staring at me like that?
It's time to come clean, Doctor. This whole thing has been quite suspicious. The agency never said you did it. Come to think of it, you never have worked for the agency. I'm even more surprised Detective Lance told you anything. Perhaps he knew as well. Yet, let this happen. Regardless, you can prove your innocence now and show me the signed document of the agency allowing you on this case. Yet I am 100% certain you don't have that, mainly because it would compromise the whole case, putting two people once married together. It would make the case to close. Of course she would. You think me a fool. I am a detective, not an idiot. How could you? You've compromised this whole case, and for what? Oh, the agency is going to have a field day with this. What would you expect to happen, Emily? We wander through this accursed place without me thinking of protocol. There is nothing here, just papers on Greenhills. I can't believe you using my personal email. forging the head's signature, yet not putting it through the proper channels. I know why you didn't. That email would have been investigated. I'll give you credit, Emily. You are good. Yet only amateur. We, however, are leaving. I will take you back to where I found you, and then come back here. Perhaps I can still salvage this case. I'll just not even mention you. Wait, what is happening? The rooms, they're different. Doctor, tell me you're seeing this as well.
Detective, all I'm seeing are the rooms we walked through. If this is some way to get me to talk, you are doing a very bad job of it.
The rooms indeed are different, and I'm the only one seeing it. I am uncertain what is happening, and I don't like it.
Detective.
Emily had froze, her eyes wide as they glanced around the room. Then she hid behind me. She always hid behind me like this when we were together as a romantic gesture. And here she was again behind me. Either she's toying with me, or she too is seeing the rooms change. Only they're different for her. Doctor, are the rooms different for you too now?
It's against all reason, but yes, they are.
Let's stick together. We have a better chance than if we were alone.
But Simeon, isn't that against protocol?
Yes, it is. Let's go through this red door, see where it leads. Wait, where are we now?
You don't recognize it, Simeon. It's our old home interior, just very warped and twisted.
So now she can see what I'm seeing. This twisted madness finally found a nerve to poke for both of us. I never wanted to come back here, and now this place is making fun of our pain. All this place is doing now is reminding me of my failure. Enough, I can't take this anymore. I knew you wanted one. I knew it. I was too weak, too scared to try. I didn't want our child to become fatherless because of my job.
Simeon, it's quite all right. I was scared too.
You were. You didn't even show it.
Oh, but I was. I too was weak. I didn't want to show you how frightened I was. I couldn't tell you how proud I was of you, going out there, catching the bad guys, coming home looking as wrung out as old carpet, yet I was always so proud of you. It was me. My fears were what tore us apart.
Why didn't you just tell me?
I wanted to. I promise you I did. Yet when the day came, when I finally mustered up all I could, you were gone. Left leaving the papers on the table. And now after all this time here I am, to tell you how proud I am of you, Simeon. I don't even blame you for finding me suspicious, for wondering about my motives all this time. Truthfully, all I wanted was to tell you I'm sorry. That's all. Simeon, I am so sorry.
Emily, I am sorry too. I'm sorry for not waiting a little bit longer, for walking out on you, for quitting on you when you needed me the most. I hope you can forgive me too.
I forgive you. Do you forgive me?
Of course I do. And now, this place no longer has a hold upon us. We have overcome our grief and fear. This way, I recall seeing a door that we never went into. And there they are, the missing people. Emily, get those devices off of them.
Simeon, behind you.
Lance, we need to talk. The email I received, I've traced it, and it led to you. Now I had truly thought Emily had done it, yet it traces back to you. Do you even know how many protocols you broke doing that?
Did protocol bring you and your ex back together? I think not. And from what I've heard, you've done a stellar job. The agency doesn't work on protocol. It works on results.
Do you even realize how much danger you put us in?
And yet you stand before me, do you not? And you're also newly married.
I suppose I should thank you.
You don't need to thank me, Detective. You already had the tools to make this right. Both of you did. It was just a matter of how. As for Greenhills, perhaps Blackmore will appear one day. Who knows? For now we wait.